All right, so the next lesson that we have is lesson 11, chapter 12, lesson 11. This is volume of composite figures. So the last lesson, we pretty much worked on this, but we were building them, so it was more hands-on. So just to remind you if you forgot, a composite figure is made up of two or more three-dimensional figures. To find the volume, separate the figure into figures, meaning separate them by pretty much like row, with volumes you know how to find. So this says, the Arc de Triomphe in Paris, France is roughly in the shape of the composite figure shown. So this is actually really cool. Here's a picture of it, real life. But this is the figure that it forms. Is roughly in the shape of the composite figure shown. Find the volume of the Arc de Triomphe. So if you can see here, it's symmetrical. So at the top, we're pretty much just breaking this apart. So if you can look on the picture here, we're breaking this into three sections. We have the sides that are both worth the same amount, and then we have the top section, which is its own individual amount. So if we were to break this apart, it would be 1, 2, 3. So we have to find the volume of each of these individually, and then we know at the end we add them together to get our total volume for the entire figure shown. So if it's a composite figure, that means we have to break it apart, which is what we are doing. It says separate the figure into 3 rectangular prisms and find the volume of each prism. So luckily we have to do less work because both sides, two sides are symmetrical, meaning that they're going to have the same volume. So right here we have our first figure. This could be this side or it could be this side. We have a length of 17, we have a width of 24, and we have a height of 32. So we have our length, our width, and our height. And we know that the formula for volume is length times width times height. So we have 17 times 24 times 32. So we have a lot of big numbers here. So I'm gonna actually go ahead and solve this so that you can see my math for it, because reviewing for double-digit multiplication is no big deal. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. Doesn't matter which numbers we multiply, because that's why we like multiplication. Doesn't matter which order, which numbers we pair together. I'll do 17 times 24 first. 4 times 7 is 28, carry your 2. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. My 0 is going to hold my 1's place. 2 times 7 is 14. Carry my 1, and 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So I have 3, well, finish. I have 408. So this is 408 times 32. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of work now. 408 times 32. 2 times 8 is 16, carry your 1. 2 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. 2 times 4 is 8. Put my 0. 3 times 8 is 24. Carry my 2. 3 times 0 is 0, plus 2. And 3 times 4 is 12. All right, so I'm going to line them up. And I get 13,056, which is great because that's what the answer is for each sections on the side. I'll go ahead and move that, put that up here. So this section has a volume of 13,056, and this section, which is awesome because they're identical, has the same volume of 13,056. The last part that we have to find is the volume of this top section here. So what we have is we have the length, which is up here, is 50. The width, which is right here on the bottom, is 24. And the height, which is right here, this section, if it comes across, is 22. So we have 50 times 24 times 22. I'll go ahead and solve that on my sticky note here so you can see my math in front. All right, so I'll go ahead and multiply. We'll go ahead and do 50 times 24 first. So we have 50 times 24. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 5 is 20. Put my 0. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 5 is 10. Add them. Add straight down. 1,200. Now we need to multiply that number by 22. So 1,200 times 22. And then this will give us our total volume for our figure, our Arc de Triomphe in Paris, France. 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 2 is 4, and 2 times 1 is 2. Put our 0. 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 1 is 2. Add straight down, and we get 26,400, which is what they got, as you can see right here. So if we add we broke this whole composite figure into 3 rectangular prisms. I'm gonna go ahead and underline that. 1 prism, the 2nd prism, and the 3rd prism. Right, left, top. Now we need to add them all together. So if you add straight down, 6 plus 6 is 12, 2, carry your 1. 1 plus 5 is 6, 6 plus 5 is 11, 11 plus 0 is 11, 1, carry your 1. 1 plus 0 plus 0 plus 4 is 5. 3 plus 3 plus 6 is 12, 2, carry your 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with 52,512. So the whole thing we had to do was find the volume of this entire Arc de Triomphe. So the entire volume for this entire figure, which is real life, it's literally in Paris, France, the total volume is 52,512 cubic yards, or 52,512 yards cubed. So again, you can say either way, but make sure that you are taking the composite figure section by section, find the individual volume of each, and then add all of those together. Okay, so again, remember, composite figure is 2 or more 3-dimensional figures. So it could be 2, it could be 5, it could be 7, and you would add all of those up. All right, go ahead and see the next page. We can do, here, this is perfect. We can do this one on the bottom here. All right, so this one was one of the homework problems. It isn't done yet, so we can go ahead and do it together. So it says find the volume of each composite figure. This is going to be one figure on top, and this is going to be one figure on bottom. So we can solve both of these. This would be 1 times 3 times 5. In this bottom section, again, it doesn't matter the order, 7 times 3 times 3. Then we're going to add those two numbers together. So 1 times 3 is 3, 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 7 is 63. 15 plus 63 is 78. So our answer is not 78. Our answer is 78 cubic feet, or 78 feet cubed. So that one was great because it was super easy. So again, we have our top prism, our bottom prism, just like they did up here. And then we found the volume of each and added them together. All right, we'll go ahead and do this one over here. We have some multiplying of decimals, so that'll be interesting. So we have this figure to the right here, and then we have this huge one. Now, instead of doing the length times width times height for this one, we have the height, but we are given the base. The base is found by multiplying the length and width. So the length and width was probably 2 and 3 because they got 6. So we are going to multiply 6 times 5.5. Then we are going to multiply 5.5, 1, and 1. So we have 5.5 times 1 times 1. Anything times 1 is itself. So we have 5 and 5/10 for this bottom or top figure. For our bottom figure here, 5.5 times 6. So if you want to do that right here, I'll go ahead and do this. Now, if we are multiplying a decimal by a whole number, you are not going to put your 6 right here. Remember, you can add a decimal point and a 0 to any whole number. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply 0, 3, 33. Okay, and my answer is 33. So now I need to add 33 plus 5.5. And I get 38 and 5/10. So my volume for figure 2 is 38 and 5. We have meters. 38 and 5/10 cubic meters, or 38 and 5/10 meters cubed. So I hope this video helped for this lesson. Again, you're just breaking the composite figures into separate prisms, finding the individual volume for those prisms, and then adding them together. So next we'll have lesson 12, and then we're going to go back to the beginning of chapter 12 and go to lesson 1, which is polygons. So the next lesson, oh wait, just kidding, we don't do this lesson. So we're going to go to polygons next.